Dominic Breazeale. Dominic Breazeale is going to be Deontay Wilder's next opponent. I'm pretty sure most people know of him. If you're from the UK, you know that he got spanked badly against Anthony Joshua. If you're from the US, you would know that he went life and death with Amir Mensah. And you would also know that he got a gift decision against Fred Cassie. Now, Dominic Breazeale is he's a warrior, okay? He's a warrior, and he has a lot of heart. Matter of fact, I think that's one of his biggest strengths as a fighter is his courage, right? His heart. When it comes to the skill department, I've never thought that Dominic Breazeale, I was never impressed with his skill set, okay, as a fighter. You know, as a boxer, I've never, you know, he's like the way he fights is very mediocre, basically. You know, because you could tell when you see fighters fight, you could tell just by, you could see their skill sets. You could see, you know, there's levels. And when it comes to Dominic Breazeale, he's very mediocre. He fights like a guy who just started learning how to fight, who just picked up boxing. And it makes sense because Dominic Breazeale did not start boxing until he was 23. I believe he first walked into a boxing gym at the age of 23. And he turned pro by the age of 28. So he was not one of these guys that, you know, started boxing. Because a lot of these boxers, they start really young when they're like 9 years old, 10 years old. He picked up the sport relatively late at 23. And it shows, you know, you could see a very average fighter, you know, the way he punches. But like I said, he does have heart. And he is a puncher. You know, if you look at his record, he has 18 KOs, right? But when he stepped up to guys to, you know, the level of Anthony Joshua, you've seen what happened. One thing I've always was worried about Dominic Breazeale is his chin. Okay, Dominic Breazeale has been down on numerous occasions. I mean, he got dropped against Amir Mensah, and if you notice, all the guys that dropped him were all punchers, right? Amir Mensah dropped him twice, I believe. Amir Mensah was always like he's kind of like a roughhousing type of heavyweight. He's a puncher. Anthony Joshua dropped him. Obviously, AJ's a puncher. Izo Ogono dropped him. You know, apparently he's a puncher too. So here's the problem I have with Dominic Breazeale. He has no defense. Okay, so when you're fighting Deontay Wilder, you have to be cautious of Deontay Wilder's right hand. You have to. You can't fight Deontay Wilder not caring about your defense, no matter who you are. You can't fight him not caring about your defense because Wilder depends on his right hand to land flush on your chin. He's aiming at your chin with his right hand the whole freaking fight. So Dominic Breazeale is a guy that normally tends to plot his way forward against opponents. And he tries to impose his size because he's a big dude. He's like 6'7", 6'8". You know, 250, 260 pounds. So he tries to impose his massive size on his opponent by going down the pipe. And you saw he tried to do that against Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua was stopping him right in his tracks with a jab. Following up with right hands, uppercuts, body shots. And he just tore Dominic Breazeale to pieces. To the point where he submitted him. Because by round 7, Dominic Breazeale was a beaten man. Right? When he fought Amir Mensah, he was fighting him toe-to-toe. That's the worst thing you could do against Amir Mensah. Amir Mensah is a guy that throws his punches like he throws, because he's a short heavyweight, so he throws like these hooks. And he wants you to be standing in front of him because he's at his best when he throws, because when he throws punches, he puts a lot of force behind them. His punches, Mr. Amir Mensah. He throws punches with aggressiveness. He's very aggressive. So, you know, the worst thing you could do for Amir Mensah is move, box and move. He wants you to stand in front of him and trade with him. And that's exactly what Dominic Breazeale did, and he fell and dropped several times. So the problem that Dominic Breazeale has is he has no chin. No, excuse me. He has no defense. Okay? He has no defense. He tends to fight his opponent's fights. Right? He tends to give his opponents the advantage that they're looking for by going after his opponents. Okay? Because he has a lot of heart, he keeps doing it. You never see Dominic Breazeale retreat. He keeps doing it. So what I predict is going to happen here is I believe Dominic Breazeale is going to be plodding forward the way he always does. And mind you, and remember, he had some beef with Deontay Wilder. He had beef with Deontay Wilder, his little brother, Marcellus, the guy who got knocked out cold, back when he fought Washington in the undercard of Washington. They had some little beef, so he tried to sue Wilder. So there's bad blood there. They don't like each other. So Wilder's going to be going into this fight with a vengeance. With all, because he's pissed off of all the things that Dominic Breazeale has said in the past about Deontay Wilder, calling him all types of names. And then you got Dominic Breazeale who's going to be going into this fight angry as well. Because, like I said, apparently they jumped him and he was there with his family and his daughter, and so he didn't like that. And, he's going to be going in there angry. And I think that's the worst way you could fight Deontay Wilder's angry. Especially if you have the style of someone like Dominic Breazeale, who already is poor with his defense, already doesn't have the best technique, and already has too much heart. And imagine he goes in there with being extra aggressive. He's going to leave himself wide open for Deontay Wilder right hand. And like I said, he's been dropped several times in the past by punching in and saw like Izzo go, especially with the way he throws his punch. He throws right hands down the pipe. So I predict that you're going to see Dominic Breazeale show a lot of heart. But I think that's going to be his downfall, is him showing too much heart. And I don't know when this fight's going to be stopped. I don't know what round. But I do predict it's going to be Wilder dropping Dominic Breazeale with a right hand. And then when Dominic Breazeale gets up and he's, all over the place and he's, doesn't know where he's at, you're going to see Deontay Wilder jump on him as he normally does and just go after him. And the ref's going to wave it off. Okay? The only question here is, could he do it faster than Anthony Joshua? That's what everybody wants to know, because Joshua took him 7 rounds. So, that's really the only question here. I don't really think Dominic Breazeale has a chance against Deontay Wilder unless Deontay Wilder doesn't show up, unless Deontay Wilder doesn't take him seriously. But Deontay Wilder is a guy who also himself has heart in the ring. So, yeah, I'm not trying to discredit Dominic Breazeale, but I've never, if you look at my past videos, I've never rated Dominic Breazeale high. I do expect him to lose. Anyway, guys, I have to say thanks for watching. I'm out.